I think the biggest takeaway for me at Mega Camp was, I don't remember what day it was, but the math breaks down to if you were able to make 7 appointments a week, you would net $1 million. And that's just with the average purchase price in the United States, which is something like $17.
Yes.
But it's like $200 and some odd $1,000. You know, in our market center, it's obviously much more than that. So we don't, if we want to net $1 million, we don't necessarily need to make 7 appointments. I don't know what the math breaks down to net $1 million for the appointments. I'm sure I could figure it out. However, what's cool about Mega Camp is you watch these people come up on stage and you realize that they put their pants on one leg at a time, right? Nobody's perfect. You see that they're kind of just normal people. They're just functioning at a higher level. And they've made the decision to do the necessary things in order to put themselves in the positions that they're now in, and they get to go on stage because of that. And if really all that is setting 7 appointments, or again, in our neighborhood, 3.5, 4, and you get, let's say, you go on 5. My goal is now 5 a week, and I did that as of Tuesday afternoon. This is not impossible. You get 5 appointments a week. Let's say you get half of that, 2.5, right? Let's say you close just 3/4 of that. You will then gross well over $1 million. So if you can commit, and that's with 45 weeks, not 52 weeks. So this is the math I'm basing myself off. So the short of it is, keep it simple. Have one goal that you can focus on. And if it's not, it should be a little bit out of your reach, but attainable. And 5 appointments, you know, whether it's sellers or buyers, is attainable. Would you guys not agree?
Yeah. I think so. It is.
Absolutely.
It's not the hardest thing in the world, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm doing.
So I'm Sarah Arnold, and what my biggest takeaway from Mega Camp is ultimately going back to basics, talking about database. Whereas I'm going to dovetail on what Brendan was saying about getting your appointments is really the way you're going to make money. How you get them doesn't really matter. You could do expireds, you can do so many different things. I'm going to dig in on database. So if you take all the people that are in your database, cultivate them, and for example, now moving them into Command, if you haven't done that yet, call them up, ask them for their contact information, and say, I'm going to be putting you on this amazing program. You're going to be getting new information. You're going to be getting market snaps. You're going to be getting all these different things. And by doing that, you're cleaning your database and migrating them over where you can actually touch them in a systematic way. So that's my biggest takeaway, is how do I make it easy? How do I use technology? But the way that I'm going to be using technology is creating the barrier around my business by keeping the people who know me and who I know closer to me. And who do they know who might want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? So that's how I'm going to do it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to do a mastermind with people on how do we really connect into our database.
Hello, I'm Andrew Lowe. My biggest takeaway from this mega camp was farming. And we have this awesome technology coming out in Command that allows us to be what they call hyper-local. We're really the only company, I think, that has that ability with the nextdoor.com neighborhoods overlaid with MLS data. So one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on is hyperlocal farming and not being scared to start small and scale it from there. So finding a neighborhood that has a manageable number. So for me, that was about 150 properties. So I found a neighborhood with that. I checked the turnover in there, so there's about between 6 and 10% turnover every year, which means on the low end, 150 houses, 6% of them sell a year. That's about 9 properties. So if I can effectively market to that neighborhood of 150 houses, I can expect, even if I got a quarter of them, that's 2 or 3 listings, which will also generate buyers. So let's just say I get a quarter of them. That's 3 listings. I get at least 3 buyers from that. That's 6 pieces of business. And all of that adds up to, at our average price point, probably about $125,000 to $150,000. So that's the strategy I'm going to be working on. I actually started with we looked at the homeowners in that farm that have been there for more than 4 years, and we mailed them a card showing the last 8 years of appreciation that has been on the median sold price in that neighbourhood, and asked who is wanting to take advantage of the last 8 years of appreciation. So that's how I got started. It's simple, not necessarily easy, just spend the time getting through it, and hopefully the results will be there.
Hi there, I'm Anastelle Mays. I loved Mega Camp this year. I think it's my 11th so far and one of the best, hands down. One of the things that I'm reminded of is simply how easy this business can be. And my biggest takeaway was just focusing on leads and providing wonderful customer service. So I'm excited to use Command for calendaring, creating those appointments in the calendar and just sticking to the calendar, and then the marketing associated with client follow-up, both existing clients as well as future clients, assigning tasks to our team members and keeping communication fluid, keeping our clients engaged, and making sure that the Mays Group is first and foremost when they're ready to buy or sell.
Hi, I'm Jill Chernay, and this was my second year at Mega Camp, and I think there's always so much information. Sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming, so every once in a while we have to find that little diamond in the rough that inspires us. I think for me, there was a lot to be inspired by, certainly some great speakers, but one phrase in particular that kind of sticks with me is that there is a difference between a goal and a commitment. And again, it's the simplest things that kind of make you dive a little bit deeper into what that really means to you. We have some great tools available. All of us are very familiar with, how to create our goals, set our goals for our year and plans and such. I think Command, and in particular pipelines and opportunities, will really help us do that with the goals that we have in mind. However, I think if we dig a little deeper and understand what it means to be committed, one of the phrases that was used that kind of struck me, really kind of surprised me, was when we have children, those of us who have children, it's not our goal to love our children or to nurture our children or to help them grow. It is a commitment. It kind of comes from deep inside. So I think for me in particular, that's something that resonated, because I am very committed to my clients and to providing the service at the highest standard possible. And so I think I'm going to take a little bit more to heart what it means to be committed as opposed to just having a goal and trying to hit that goal.
Hi, I'm Angela Hearn, and what I loved most about Mega Camp was the different stuff that we could go to. We had our Gary Keller speech and state of the company and the speakers, but if you were in MAPS coaching, you got to go to masterminds. So you were in a room with agents at the same production level that you were at, sitting at a round table, masterminding ideas. And what I got from one of these sessions was a huge aha for me, was that we should all track, we track our numbers, but you should also track your burnout sessions, because we all go through burnout. So do you burn out at 5 months? Do you burn out at 6 months, 1 year? So that just before you get to that burnout stage, you can go and take a weekend off like the month before and go refresh. She kind of compared it to a pitcher of water. We're filled up and we're giving to our clients and we're giving to the other agent, and we're giving to our broker and our spouses and our children, and all of a sudden there's nothing left and you don't have the energy to move on. So for me, it was not just tracking the numbers, but tracking that and then taking it to the technology, where now we have the ability in our technology and opportunities that if you put down when you've got a listing appointment, and you put down when that listing appointment becomes an actual contract and then goes through escrow and closes, the opportunities will now start to tell you what your timeline is on the production that you're doing. So if you suddenly notice your production is waning, it's a reminder of maybe it's time to go take a weekend and go do something special for Angela or for you, so that you don't go through that burnout phase and your production starts to drop off. So there was a lot of Mega Camp. I highly recommend that everybody goes.
Okay, what sticks in my mind the most was the inspirational speaker, the keynote inspirational speaker, Jim Stovall. This is a guy that lost his sight in his 20s, and he went on to do a lot of volunteer work, worked a lot with blind kids after that, really accomplished quite a bit despite the loss of his sight. Anyway, the big takeaway from him is he says, it's not that we don't know what to do, it's that we don't do what we know we need to do. So the way I apply that in my business is to keep it simple, focus on the simplest, most important things first, master them, make a habit out of them before you start getting too lost in all the other minutiae of this business. It's really quite simple. Just, we know what we need to do, get out there and do it.
Hi, it's Megan Deal. So what I got from Mega Camp was a lot, but I think one of the things that really struck home for me is the idea of the simplicity of success, and that the key things are really not settling for less than your goals, and to really having a long-term approach to your business, and realizing that most leads might take 19 months or so to actually buy or sell a piece of property. So you need to stay with those people, and the quality of the touches and the information that you give them is really going to drive that relationship, and you're going to stay with them through that whole process. And the idea that somebody buys or sells a house on average anywhere between every 3 to 7 years. So every single person you know is going to buy a house in the next 3 to 7 years. And the question is that commission going to go to you, or is it going to go to somebody else? So if we really commit to staying with our people at a high level, giving them value and really making them understand that we're there for them, that they will eventually work with us. And we have to look at this as a long-term business that we're in. Yeah. So staying with people and really giving them valuable information over the long haul, that's where it's at. Yeah.
There were so many really exciting things that we learned at Mega Camp, things that we're going to be able to improve our business with. But one of the simplest ideas I came out with was, all of us have gotten into real estate because we are excited about helping other people. And I'm trying to set my goals as far as developing my business and following up on leads. And one of the speakers mentioned, it's not a lead, it's a family. Mm-hmm. It is their hopes, their dreams, and everything about them. And if we approach our business as when we are following up on leads, that we're really helping a family, I think it makes it so much more worthwhile for us. Mm-hmm. And it makes following through with all these other things great. And Command is going to allow us to communicate with each person on things that are important to them. And so that's what I got out of it.